dozens and dozens of players going into COVID protocols. We've seen a crazy number of players be playing in the NBA this year. In fact, it's a record number at 541 players have played in the NBA this year, which is completely insane. And the quality of basketball obviously has suffered a bit, but not what you would think. So that makes me think, and this is something we've talked about before, that the NBA could definitely stand up to an expansion. Maybe you have more than even just one team, maybe two teams.
Yeah, this is the reason why expansion is perfect right now. Owners lost a lot of money. That's just true. The bubble, the home games, all that stuff, owners lost a lot of money. So selling two expansion teams, they're going to go for around 1.5 billion each. So 1.5 billion, 1.5 billion. Let's say that the NBA takes what, like a 40% cut or whatever. That's still around 1.5 to $2 billion split between 30 people. So that's going to be good for the owners. I'm pretty sure they're going to enjoy that money and they're going to want that money. So now the owners finally have incentive to bring in two more teams. And then the talent pool. We know the talent pool is enough to hoist and roster 32 teams because we've seen players like Brandon Knight, Stanley Johnson, Greg Monroe. None of them had an NBA contract. DJ Wilson for the Toronto Raptors. And those four players are going to be NBA players after this 10-day contract ends. DJ Wilson is going to get signed. Greg Monroe has played good enough that he should get signed and he will get signed. Brandon Knight has scored in double digits every single game he's played since the 10-day contract, so he will get signed. And Stanley Johnson has been one of the best hustle and rebounders and effort guys for the Lakers, whereas the Lakers are saying, yo, waive anyone to get him signed. So those are four players that off the top of my head are able to re-sign and also provide more opportunity for the starting center of the Miami Heat currently, Omer Yurtseven. He's had 3 triple doubles back to back. He needs to get minutes. So I'm pretty sure in an expansion draft, having him as your starting center, people will be happy with that. Gabe Vincent, Max Stress, those are two good shooters on the Miami Heat bench who get no minutes. Who, now that when they got minutes, they both were averaging 5 threes a game and almost 15 points, right? So all these guys are just showing they're NBA level players and they could compete against any other NBA player. And it's just something exciting to see. And I think it's time because owners have a reason. The talent pool is high enough. It's time. There's no reason not to do an NBA expansion.
There's too many reasons. I mean, we were talking about this before we saw all these non-NBA players playing NBA quality basketball just for the monetary reason. We knew the talent level was the highest it's ever been in the NBA. And now there's you don't need any more proof. It's time. It's time to do it. You're going to make so much more money from the expansion, and from the expansion draft itself is going to be a huge televised event. There's going to be hype leading up to it on every show, on every podcast, on every Twitter account for weeks and weeks and weeks. So I think you can make more than enough money from that.
And even expansion rules, let's say they just say, all right, the number 1 and 2 picks go to the new expansion teams. People are going to be like, oh my God, is that fair for Pablo and Chet Holmgren to go to these new Seattle and Vegas? Or is that not fair for Detroit Pistons and the Orlando Magic who tanked the season? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that for a whole hour. Right? Analyze how that's going to impact Pablo and Chet's career and stuff like that. Then we have to talk about a whole hour predicting who they're going to draft and if it's enough that only 6 players are allowed to be protected and not 7. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we got to talk about the whole analyzing the draft. This player went up 3rd or should he went up 5th? You know what I mean? Then it's analyzing, is the West versus East? Because of the 2 new teams that can be in the West. Who comes to the East? Stuff there's going to be so much content and money and just eyes on the NBA because of this new expansion that it'll be so worth it. And it's so worth it. They have to do it now.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here so you never miss the best clips from Stretch the Floor. Hit the links in the description below to find us on all podcast platforms and follow us on Instagram.